Now, some of you may have noticed that I didn't upload a video on Friday. I apologize about that. I had a little technical difficulties with my GoPro. Actually recorded pretty much the whole show. Had a guest that I interviewed. And as I was wrapping up the show, um, my GoPro stopped recording. So I turned it back on and finished up the show. Went to start editing, and the chunk of the majority of my show was erased off my SIM card for some reason, even though I had plenty of space left on it. So let's hope that doesn't happen today. Hope everyone had a great weekend. It is 420 today, so happy holidays to all you that partake. I celebrated a couple days ago. So I've got my cold tea here, and I'll do that today. So again, sorry there wasn't a show on Friday, but let's start this week off strong and get right into it. I'll go over the dream that I had Thursday night again, since nobody got to hear it. So this takes place in Joyce, Washington, which is I guess not really my hometown. It's where my dad has property out there. I went to school out there for a couple of years, 8th grade and freshman year. At a B8 school. We played 8-man football. I played football, basketball, and ran track for them. So we're back in Joyce, Washington, which, if you don't know, is directly over the center of the earth. You can Google it. It's real. That's a fact. So I'm driving by my old high school, and I see one of my old track mates, Matt Hammer, and he's doing like pole vault tricks. So he's got the pole vault, and he's like climbing up the pole and then doing flips and stuff before he hits the ground. He's practicing in like a giant long jump, triple jump pit. So it's, sand. So it's safe. But he's doing some really cool stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, if I would have known about this years ago, I bet I'd be a pretty awesome trick pole vaulter. It's kind of like parkour meets pole vaulting. So that was the first part of the dream, and then I end up in the family kitchen, which is a local restaurant in Joyce, and I meet some new people there, have a drink with them. So I think that just kind of says that I'm missing my social life a little bit, going out to bars and meeting new people. It's probably saving me some money, but regardless. Then my dream shifts over, and I'm back in San Diego, California, which is where I've been living for the last 2 years before I moved out here to Cleveland. And I'm at my friend's house, Rihanna's house, for some reason, and we're just hanging out. And there's this guy, one of her neighbors, that keeps like leaning out the window, and he's like bragging about how awesome he is at fishing, and he's like the best fisherman, and blah blah blah, all this stuff. He says, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go sea lioning here pretty soon. If anybody wants to join." Whatever that means. I don't know if he's fishing for sea lions or what, but he's like, yeah, if anybody's looking for something new, way to make some money, let me know. Again, he says he's awesome at getting people into it. Kind of seemed like a tool, right? So we end up at his house, hanging out with him, naturally. So we're chilling at this dude's apartment. He's got like a 1-bedroom apartment or something. And Justin Bieber is there, and he's chilling on the couch. And he's telling a story about how, when he was younger and a kid, he would go as Justin Bieber. But now that he's all grown up, a little bit older, he had turned into a black man and went by the name of Chris Brown. So that was kind of interesting. And this dude had like 20 cats in this tiny little apartment. And they were really pretty cool looking cats, Most of them were like calico, tons of cool colors. Some of them looked like tigers, Some of them had multiple tails, like 2 tails, like one where it normally is, above the Cheerio, and then another one like halfway up the spine, which was kind of crazy. And I kept going into his kitchen to get something to drink, and for some reason I could never hold on to the mug the first time I go to grab it. I'd always drop it, and it wouldn't break or anything. But it's like, oh, sorry, man, I'm dropping your glassware all over the place. And then I try to use the sink, and he's got like a faucet coming off the wall, and then a regular sink, and I couldn't figure out the faucet. Every time I turned it on, it just sprayed water everywhere. So I was making a huge mess. But I noticed that nothing was wet afterwards, so it kind of was like a clue that I was dreaming. Anyway, this happens a couple of times. And it's interesting that I spilled water all over the place because the night before that, I had a dream where I was at my mom's house, and the same thing happened. I couldn't, for some reason, she had a soda machine, like a soda fountain, underneath one of her chairs in the kitchen. And so I was going to get like some soda water, because I don't drink soda, but I'll drink, sparkling water or whatever. And it would just spray all over the place. So let me know if you have a theory of what that means. Let's see, where was I? So we're back at the house. Oh yeah, we're at this guy's apartment. And at first his cats, they're nice to me. They like me, I'm able to pet them and stuff like that. And then after a while, they start turning on me and like scoffing and, yelling on me for some reason. And one of them turns into this like cartoon character cat. I don't know if you've seen the movie 43. It's a movie with a bunch of like little miniature movies in it, short films in it or something. One of them is about this cat named Beazle. So if you've seen that movie, this cat kind of looked like Beazle. His eyes got all big, and he's like, I don't know about this guy. And they were like talking to each other, like, well, Charles, don't trust this guy. You keep an eye on him. I'll keep an eye on everybody outside. And I'm not sure if they were actually talking. I have the feeling that I was just kind of narrating their voices in my head, like one of those YouTube or Instagram videos where the people talk for the dog. So yeah, there was that. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure that I was actually just narrating their actions. So that was that dream. Kind of crazy. A little bit of a longer one, it's always fun. Then last night I had a dream where Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning was hanging out at my house. They were just chilling in my apartment. We were just hanging out on the couch, eating some pizza, stuff like that, talking about comics and stuff and how I used to... Actually, we were talking about this show. I think in the dream they were going to be a guest on the show or something like that. So we were kind of talking about the show, and I keep giving them shit because they're celebrities, and I'm just an amateur, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. I tell them about some of the comics that I know personally from working at a comedy club, and I think it was Link got a bunch of like pizza sauce all over his hands. So we took a selfie together, which was cool. I couldn't figure out how to do a selfie right. Rhett got all pissed off at me. But it was cool. Got to hang out with two of my inspirations, I guess you could say, Rhett and Link. So shout out to Rhett and Link at Good Mythical Morning. And let's take a call. I've figured out how to record FaceTime. And I know I've said that before, but I tested it out yesterday, and it works. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. Gotcha. Recording is started. Welcome to the show, Mulu.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So we got for all of you watching, we've got my brother. He was the first guest on this show, and now he's the first guest that we're recording on FaceTime. So this guy's just full of firsts.
Yeah, and I'm the first reoccurring guest too.
That's true. Very true. Right. Triple first up here.
That's right.
So I had a dream last night where Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning were hanging out at my apartment. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Got to hang out with them, eat some za, and talk shop.
Yeah, great.
You got a dream you want to talk about?
Well, last night's dream was pretty standard. It was just a kind of like a work dream, sort of thing. I had bought a house that was on the beach, but the garage was in the back on the beach. So I would open up the garage and it was direct access to the water. So I decided to open up a scuba dive shop out of my garage. And I
Nice.
was running day-to-day business, filling tanks, taking orders for lessons, and working all night long in my dream.
All night long.
Pretty
Scuba
much. I didn't even
scuba
get to
diving.
do any diving. So everybody
Nice.
else
Well,
got to do.
glad to hear that business is booming.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So that was a
Um,
pretty standard, just staying busy, working kind of dream. Um, but I can talk about my first reoccurring dream, my first lucid dream, or the time that I went so lucid that my brain shut down.
oh, Jesus. All right. Well, let's get to one of those in a second, but why don't you tell us about that dream that you had Thursday night about working on the show, on my show?
Oh, basically, I was running the soundboard for your show, um, and we were trying to get a message out to the people. I can't remember what the message was, but it was something fairly important socially, and we wanted everybody to hear what we had to say. But I couldn't get the audio to work. Every time I turn up a different channel on the microphone or on the soundboards, if I turned up this channel, all of a sudden YouTube started blaring through the speakers, some random YouTube content. So I'd turn that down, then I'd turn up the other one, and the radio would start blaring like crazy. Some radio station, I'd turn that one down, and then this was, some movie. So no matter what I could do, it was all of the media's information was getting put out, but our own information was being suppressed,
Right.
and it was really frustrating.
Yeah. Technical difficulties were not working in our, or technology was not working in our favor. And then what's funny is that after you told me that story on Friday, my GoPro stopped recording and lost the
Right.
whole show. So,
Yep. Recorded a whole show and it didn't end up airing.
yeah.
So there's a
So,
little bit of
some foreshadowing.
yeah, a little foreshadowing in the dream there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about your being so lucid that your brain shut down, because that is, I'd like to hear about that.
Well, I've been practicing lucid dreaming since I was a teenager. Oh no, my battery's at 5%. I hope I can get through this. And had many. I've probably had 40 plus lucid dreams in my life easily. And this one, I remember being on the beach and then just immediately getting lucid. Boom, like, oh, I'm in a dream right now. Time to play, time to have fun and fly around and do whatever I want to do. But as soon as I said, okay, here we go, everything went pitch white. It went completely white. Like, when Neo in the Matrix goes into the Matrix for the first time as, a lucid experience in the Matrix, and everything is just a blank white, and they can load any programs. They load the gun racks and stuff.
Right.
That's what it was. And I was like, oh crap. There's nothing to dream about because I've completely gone so lucid that I've turned off the creative part of my dream that was doing the randomness, and there was just a blank slate.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I sat around in the blank space for a while, and then slowly started getting back into the dreaming and losing the lucidity.
Oh man, that sucks. So you finally are completely in control of your dreams, and then there's nothing to do. You're just kind of sitting in a blank space.
Right. And it was like,
all right, it's all up to you now. Start thinking of stuff.
Then finally I did start thinking I was like, well, let's build stuff. So I built a big warehouse building. And I said, okay, let's go see what's inside of there. And I walked into the building. Sure enough, there were some people and stuff. And as I started interacting with them, I started losing lucidity and getting wrapped up into their story and into the dream. I just thought that was really interesting. I'd never had a lucid experience where it actually shut down the dreaming experience completely.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like your brain hit a reset button. I've had lucid dreams before, but nothing like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's your technique, do you think, to keeping up on your lucid dreaming? Do you write your dreams down when you wake up? Do you think that helps, or do you just try to remember them when you wake up?
I try to remember them when I wake up. I spend a few minutes laying in bed thinking about them as before I don't just jump right into the shower or anything. I take a few minutes to reflect. And yeah, I've just always really been pretty good at going lucid. If I started out by looking at my hands.
Mm.
For some reason, when you look at your hands, or I would try to read something, and when I realized I couldn't read it, then I was like, okay, I must be dreaming. And then slowly it developed into this ability to where I'd have a lot of stress dreams. And when I
Yeah.
realized I was really stressing out over something dumb, I would just do like a Hadouken, like fireball out of my hands, and then it would just for whatever problem would just disappear, and then my dream would move on to the next phase. It was just like not even gonna worry about that.
That kind of happens to me when I have like server terrors where I'm stuck in a restaurant and I can't read the POS system, or I just keep getting sat left and right and my section's filling up and I keep falling farther and farther behind. I
Yeah,
start realizing like, no, this must be a dream because there's no way I would let this happen in real life.
right.
And then from there, I'm like, okay, I'm dreaming. You know what? Fuck it, and I just leave. Like they can wait for their drinks. I don't care anymore. This ain't real. They ain't gonna be mad when I wake up.
Yeah,
You
and that's really the hardest obstacle to face is to say I'm just going to forget about this, even though in your brain the dream is telling you this is a problem you have to fix and you're responsible for it.
know?
And if you don't
Yeah,
fix it, there's bad stuff happening. The
yeah.
ability to say I don't care is
Hmm.
one of the first steps to lucid dreaming because you can just push that thought completely out of your head and move on to the next one, start fresh.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks again for being the first video guest and the first reoccurring guest. And oh my God, I thought the GoPro just shut off again. Oh, nope. That's what happened. I'll get better at this. All right. Anywho, yeah, I'll let you go. But happy 420 to you.
Yep. Same to you.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
All right, later, Mulu.
Later.
All right, cool. I think I successfully finally recorded a first FaceTime guest. So that's a big step in the right direction for this show, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, Waffles wanted to take a 3-day weekend himself, being my co-host. He wasn't really feeling it, and it is a holiday today, so I gave him the day off. However, I told him he has to make a little cameo at the end and at least say hi. So, with that being said, we'll show you Waffles. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. The start of a new week. It's Monday. I know that now because I'm doing this Monday through Friday, so it's helping me keep track of what day of the week it is and keeping my sanity in check. I think either that or I'm going more insane. Regardless, should be entertaining for you to watch. Make sure you hit the like button, comment down below what you've been dreaming about, hit the subscribe button, hit that little notification bell down in the corner so that you know when we upload a new episode. I'm going to be working on my Cooking with Mulu Snuge episode that I recorded a few days ago, so that should be coming out pretty soon. And I'm planning on recording another episode of that in the next few days. So thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. See you later, Mulus. Waffles, come here.
Mr. Waffles, everybody.